Hi, this is Kris Peters for the Hampton History Museum, and today we're going to demonstrate how to make an heirloom type tin punch ornament. But before I show you how to make the ornament itself, let's talk about tinware. Now, when we talk about an item made out of tin today, what we're usually referring to is tinned iron. And what that means is that you're taking sheet metal, sheet iron, or sheet steel, and you're coating it with a thin layer of tin. And this was done to rust-proof the metal and make it more durable. At the beginning of the 17th century, you started to see sheet metal being tinned and then used to make items. Some of the earliest things would have been simple cups and lanterns. And in order to decorate some of those items, especially the lanterns, they would punch small holes in them. And that's where we get the idea of tin punching from. Now, by the 18th century, lots of different items were being made out of tin, including cups and cook pots, plates, small cans that you could store materials in. In the 19th century, one of the most important industrial items would have been tinned cans, the kind that you would store food in. They would take a can made out of flat sheet iron or sheet steel and cover it with tin so that they could put food inside it without it rusting the can out. So tinned cans were very common during the end of the 19th century, and people would reuse them to make things. One of the most popular ways that people could reuse things around the holidays was to take the tops off of tin cans, so a nice piece of round, flat tin steel, and they would punch holes in it to make something like a Christmas tree ornament. And that's what we're going to demonstrate today. So for our purposes, we're using aluminum pie tins. It's a lot softer material, so it's a lot easier to work with. You could also do this with the top of a can and a hammer and a nail. So there are lots of different ways to do this, but I'm going to demonstrate it with aluminum. So the first thing you're going to do is pick out the size pan that you want to use. We're using tart pans for this activity because they're nice and small. And then you have to determine what your pattern's going to look like. So we have some examples of patterns out on the table here. Pineapples are an important colonial symbol for hospitality. Bells, holly, and other general European Christmas icons are used for this kind of activity. The one that I have in my tin is a snowflake pattern. So there's lots of different options available. When you're done, the patterns will look something like the one in the picture next to me. This is a pie safe, and it's one of the most iconic ways that punched tin was used in the United States. Before you had refrigeration, you had to have a reliable way to keep your food safe from insects and keep it dry. So the holes that you see punched in the tin allowed air to circulate through these cabinets, which kept food fresher, but still kept insects off of it. So this is one of the ways that tin punching was used the most in the United States. But using it to make decorative items like ornaments was also common. So for our purposes, you need to have some sort of material that's spongy and you can push a thumbtack or a pencil into without damaging the tabletop that you're working on. So you could use a piece of cork or something like a mouse pad with a rubber back on it. You just have to have something that's not going to get damaged by a thumbtack. And so you take your pattern, you tape it or put a little bit of glue down to keep it in place, and then you're going to take that thumbtack and you're going to follow along with the holes or with the dots that you have on your pattern and punch through the aluminum. And after you're done, you'll end up with lines to make the patterns that will eventually look like this one. Now, once you've completed your pattern, you want to punch a hole through the top of the tin with a hole punch, or even just a pencil will work. Tie a piece of yarn or string through it, and now you have a way to hang your ornament. Now, heirloom style ornaments like this were made by families starting in the 19th century. Christmas trees came to the United States in the 1840s. The first one that we can document was right here in Virginia. And by the Victorian era, it was very popular for families to get together around the holidays and make ornaments that they could hang on those trees. So that's the background of where this activity comes from. This is a nice, simple way for the family to do a holiday-related activity. For the Hampton History Museum, this has been Kris Peters, and thank you for watching.